What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be going over a football IQ quiz to test your knowledge of the game. We're going to be going over coverages, what plays work well versus different coverages, and other aspects that will improve your knowledge of the game of football. So, fellas, the first question of our football IQ quiz is which one of these plays? So we have a smash concept and then a Mills concept. We're going to explain them in a second, but which one of these plays would work best versus a cover 2 defense? So you guys can go ahead and take a chance to pause the video and think about your answer after I break down what each one of these plays are, and then we'll talk about why your answer is right or wrong. So a smash concept, we have 10-yard corners from the 2 slot receivers, and then your outside receivers are running 5-yard hitches. Then a Mills concept is where we have a deep 12-yard skinny post, 10-yard basic dig where they're breaking down and going straight across, backside's running a drag, and then our Z is running like a deep skinny, like very, very skinny post. So out of these 2 plays, you guys, smash or Mills, which would work best versus a cover 2 defense? You guys can go ahead and pause the video and think about your answer. Now, fellas, before we give you the correct answer for this question, if you are a quarterback or wide receiver watching this and you would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this offseason, we are traveling out to 4 more cities for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. Our next camp, you guys, is going to be in Boston, Massachusetts. Then after that, we'll be heading out to Columbus, Ohio, then Boise, Idaho, and finishing off our camp tour in Los Angeles, California. So, guys, if you're a quarterback or wide receiver local to one of those areas or would like to travel out, go to that very first link in the description below. That is where you can sign up or be added to a wait list for our sold out camp. So again, guys, very first link in that description below. Let's get back to this video. All right, so if your guys' answer was a smash concept, you would be 100% correct, and let me explain why. A Mills concept might work versus cover 2, but it's just a little bit more challenging. So let's start with the Mills concept as to why it wouldn't work. So remember, a cover 2 defense, and I'm going to write that over here so nobody's confused. So we're talking about a cover 2 defense. That's a 2 high safety defense, right? So you're going to have a free safety over the top here. You're going to have a strong safety over the top here. Your corners will be here. And then let's say you got a will backer, a middle backer, a Sam backer, and then a 4-man defensive front. And we'll, of course, draw this on the smash side as to why it works, right? So on Mills, the safety is in charge of the deep half of the field, right? And the corners are in charge of the flats. They're just sitting right here in the flats. The will backer's playing hook to curl. The Mike backer's kind of playing middle hook to curl. Sam would be playing hook to curl over here. So the reason why the Mills may not be the best is that this is a concept where you could high-low it or low-high the passing concept, right? So we'd obviously be reading this free safety first if I was going to low-high it. Chances are he's going to go with this post and take it away. So our eyes on our progression should drop down to this dig. But because the will backer is not in charge of the flats, he is going to be sitting in the first window of this dig, and the Mike backer could be taking away the second window of this dig. Now, if we want to throw this drag, the way this progression works is that the drag will be thrown late. I would say you're probably going to end up throwing the drag if you have this called versus cover 2, but who's sitting in the flats? This corner. So if he maybe were to get a good read on this, he could blow up that drag. So it's just not the best concept versus cover 2. Now, why smash is good versus cover 2 is because it puts a defender in a bind. So you got a free safety, strong safety, corner, you got your will backer, Mike backer, Sam backer right here, right? So the free safety and strong safety obviously got the deep pass. Corners are playing the flats. As a QB, my eyes go straight to the corner. So if the corner sits in the flats, which he will, we obviously throw this route. Now you might think, well, isn't that safety over the top? But we have an area of weakness versus cover 2 called the hole shot. So what you can do as a QB is you can drive that ball into the hole shot and throw it on a line to protect him from that safety and get an easy completion. So a smash would work better versus a cover 2 defense. Now, the next question on our football IQ quiz, fellas, is going to be what one of these plays would work best versus a cover 3 defense. So we're going to give you a chance, pause the video in a second, but let me explain the play concepts here. So on the right side, we have a double slant concept. So slot receivers are running just like a quick 2-step slant. So the reason why it's a 2-step slant is I'd probably recommend them coming out like a stance switch. So normally your inside foot is lined up close, like the foot closest to the quarterback is up in your wide receiver stance. In this case, you would switch your stance, and that outside foot would be the foot that would be up, and you could go 2 steps right into your slant. Outside receivers are running 3-step slants, okay? Slot receivers are also running these slants on the skinnier side of things. Now, this side of the field, we have a fade route, 10-yard out, so some people might refer to that as an Ohio concept, a backside over, which is where he has to get underneath the backer and then over the middle backer, and his aiming point is the opposite hash at about 15 yards, and then a backside dig. So, fellas, go ahead and pause the video. Which one of these plays would work best versus cover 2? Would it be play 1 right here, or would it be play 2? So go ahead and pause the video and think about your answer. So if you guys said play 1, you would be 100% correct, but let's explain why. So we were going over this versus a cover 3 defense, right? So cover 3 does not necessarily mean that there's 3 deep safeties. It's a single high free safety concept, but they're trying to take away they're trying to protect the deep thirds of the field, if you will. So let's say we got our free safety right here in the middle of the field. Corners will most likely be off, and then let's say we got our strong safety rolled down on this side. So you got your Will, you got your Mike, you got your Sam, and let's say it's a 4-4 covered 3. Pretty basic look, right? So corners bailing, free safety's got the middle half, corners bailing, so you might think, well, couldn't we throw a slant right there? Probably not. Here's the reasoning why. This outside backer and the strong safety are in charge of the flats, so they'll widen out and take away that first window of the slant. If there's nobody going to the flats, they're not just going to go there. They're going to protect the zone, if you will. Then the Mike will take away the slot, and the Sam will take away the slot. So they really kind of have an answer for everything, okay? Now, the reason why this play would work well versus cover 3 is because as offensively, we have an answer for anything that they throw at us with this coverage. So we got a single high free safety here, corners off, say the strong safety's here, let's say your Will backers here, Mike, Sam, okay? So obviously, we want to probably throw the 10-yard out. One of the weak points of a cover 3 defense is towards the sideline. That's why routes like stop routes, comebacks work well, 10-yard outs, because he's probably going to get an outside release on this strong safety, and if this corner is bailing, that is who our primary read key is, we're going to drive this 10-yard out right here. Now, what could happen on this is that this free safety might drive on the 10-yard out. Most likely no, if he's over the center. He probably won't be able to make that play. But let's say he's shifted over towards the right and drives on it. What could I throw backside? I could throw the backside over because nobody is going to be over there. So that play could also work well versus cover 4 as well, I should say, or also. But yeah, guys, if you guys said play number 1, that would be 100% correct.